When was the last time you saw Benjamin Netanyahu? Not a statement from his office, not a message released through official channels, not a photo that could have been taken weeks ago. When was the last time you actually saw him, live, unedited, in real time, addressing the Israeli public or the world? Because right now, at the height of the most intense military confrontation Israel has faced in decades, the Prime Minister of Israel has effectively vanished from public view. And the more his office insists he is fine, the more questions pile up that nobody in Jerusalem wants to answer. On March 1st, Iran launched one of the largest ballistic missile barrages in modern military history. Over 500 missiles and nearly 2,000 drones were fired at Israeli and American targets across the region in the opening days of what Iran calls Operation True Promise 4. The stated objective was retaliation for the joint American and Israeli strikes that killed Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, along with dozens of senior commanders on February 28th. Israel's military headquarters at HaKirya in central Tel Aviv was among the targets. Specifically, underground command infrastructure beneath that compound, facilities where Israel's senior leadership is supposed to shelter during wartime. The IRGC publicly claimed it struck the bunker network beneath HaKirya with precision-guided heavy warheads. Israel's response to that claim was immediate and total silence. No confirmation, no denial, no damage assessment released, no footage showing the Prime Minister touring the site to prove the strike failed. No press conference with Netanyahu standing in front of the compound declaring that Iran missed. Just silence. And in the days that followed, that silence became a pattern. On March 4th, Netanyahu was scheduled to attend a high-level security cabinet meeting. Ministers gathered. The defense establishment was present. The Prime Minister did not show. His office released a statement saying he was monitoring the situation and coordinating responses, but provided no explanation for his absence from a meeting convened specifically to address the ongoing Iranian assault. On March 7th, another security briefing was held. Again, no Netanyahu. His office issued another statement. The pattern held. By March 10th, Israeli media began asking the question openly. Where's the Prime Minister? Why has he not been seen in public since the Iranian strikes began? The response from the Prime Minister's office was a written statement confirming that Netanyahu is alive, in command, and fulfilling all his duties. But the statement did not include any recent photos. It did not include video. It did not explain why, if the Prime Minister is fine, he has not appeared publicly to reassure a nation under sustained missile attack for the first time in its history. And then the video appeared. On March 12th, Netanyahu's office released a short recorded address. The Prime Minister, seated at a desk, speaking directly to the camera, delivering a message about Israeli resilience and the ongoing military campaign. For most viewers, it was reassurance. The Prime Minister is fine. He's working. The rumors are false. But for a significant number of people watching that video, something felt wrong. The lighting seemed slightly off. The hand gestures did not quite match the cadence of previous speeches. And then someone noticed the fingers. In several frames of the video, Netanyahu's right hand is visible resting on the desk. And in those frames, viewers began circulating screenshots showing what appeared to be 6 fingers on that hand. Not a shadow, not a visual artifact from compression. 6 distinct digits. The images spread across social media within hours. Analysts began comparing the video to older footage of Netanyahu. Biometric experts weighed in, noting subtle differences in ear shape, jawline structure, and the spacing of facial features. None of it was definitive. All of it was disturbing. Israel's government has used body doubles before. This is not conspiracy theory. It is documented operational security protocol. High-value targets, particularly heads of state during wartime, are sometimes replaced with lookalikes for public appearances when security risks are elevated. The practice is neither new nor particularly controversial in intelligence circles. What makes this different is the context. If Netanyahu is fine, if he is actively commanding the war effort, if the Iranian strike on HaKirya missed, then why use a double at all? Why not have the actual Prime Minister appear in person to dispel the rumors? The timeline makes the silence more difficult to explain. Netanyahu has not made a live public appearance since February 27th, the day before the joint American-Israeli strikes that killed Khamenei. Every statement since then has been pre-recorded or released in written form through his office. Every video has been edited, produced, and distributed without any live component that would allow independent verification. For a leader known for commanding the media narrative, for a politician who built his career on direct communication with the Israeli public, the sustained absence is unprecedented. The bunker beneath HaKirya is real. It was built with American financial and engineering support. It is designed to survive direct strikes from conventional munitions. It includes electromagnetic shielding to maintain communications if everything above ground goes dark. During the June 2025 war, the 12-day conflict between Iran and Israel, Iranian missiles struck the Vinci Towers, a residential complex in central Tel Aviv, a location described by the Jerusalem Post as a stone's throw from Netanyahu's office. The entire impact zone was sealed, no media access, no damage assessment released. Weeks later, renovations began on government buildings in that area. To this day, Google Maps blurs the satellite imagery over that section of Tel Aviv. Now consider what Iran has claimed about the March strikes. The IRGC stated it deployed Khorramshahr 4 ballistic missiles, weapons carrying 1,500 kilogram warheads, specifically targeting the underground command structure at HaKirya. These are bunker-penetrating munitions designed to defeat reinforced concrete through kinetic energy and delayed fusing. Iran has also deployed cluster warheads in this campaign, weapons that fragment at altitude and scatter dozens of submunitions across a wide area, targeting surface infrastructure, ventilation systems, communications arrays, and access points to underground facilities. If a cluster warhead struck the HaKirya compound and damaged the surface infrastructure that supports the bunker network, power supplies, air filtration, communications relays, then the facility becomes unusable, even if the bunker itself survived intact. You cannot command a war from a sealed concrete box with no functional life support or communication to the outside world. And if the Prime Minister was inside that bunker when the strikes occurred, and if the surface systems were compromised, then extraction becomes a question. Where do you move him? How do you move him without confirming that the Iranian strike succeeded in degrading Israeli command infrastructure? The body double theory is not fringe speculation at this point. It is a rational explanation for an observable pattern. Netanyahu has not appeared live. The videos released show inconsistencies that professional analysts have documented. The government has not provided any verifiable proof of life beyond pre-recorded statements that could have been filmed at any time. And every day that passes without a live appearance adds weight to the possibility that something happened on March 1st, that Israel cannot publicly acknowledge without undermining the narrative that its defenses held. There's a second possibility that is equally plausible and equally difficult to disprove. Netanyahu was alive but incapacitated, not killed, injured. The Iranian strikes on HaKirya involved heavy ordnance designed to generate catastrophic overpressure inside enclosed spaces. Even if the bunker structure held, the people inside could suffer traumatic injuries from the shockwave alone. Concussive brain trauma does not require penetration. It requires proximity to a blast wave powerful enough to cause rapid pressure differentials inside the skull. If Netanyahu sustained injuries that affect his cognitive function, his ability to speak clearly, or his physical appearance, then the decision to use a stand-in for public appearances becomes a matter of operational necessity rather than deception. Israel's Shin Bet, the internal security service responsible for protecting senior leadership, would make that call. Not the Prime Minister, not his office, Shin Bet. And Shin Bet does not explain its decisions to the public. It acts, and the government adapts the narrative afterward. If that is what happened, then the body double videos are not proof of death. They are proof of incapacity. And incapacity during a war where Israel is simultaneously engaging Iran, Hezbollah, and managing a multi-front crisis is a strategic vulnerability that cannot be disclosed. The evidence continues to accumulate. On March 14th, Defense Minister Israel Katz held a press briefing on the state of Israel's military operations. Reporters asked directly where the Prime Minister was and why he had not been seen. Katz stated that Netanyahu is in constant communication with the security cabinet and is fully engaged in decision-making. When pressed on why Netanyahu does not appear publicly to confirm this himself, Katz deflected, stating that operational security during wartime limits what can be disclosed. That answer would be plausible if Israel were hiding the Prime Minister's location to prevent targeting. It becomes far less plausible when the question is not where he is, but whether he is capable of appearing at all. On March 16th, the Knesset convened for an emergency session on the state of the war. Every major political figure in Israel attended: opposition leaders, coalition members, military liaisons. The Prime Minister did not attend. His office released another statement. He is monitoring, he's coordinating, he is engaged, but he is not present. And the longer that absence continues, the harder it becomes to explain without acknowledging that something is fundamentally wrong. International observers have begun asking the same questions. The United States has not publicly commented on Netanyahu's status, but behind closed doors, American officials are reportedly seeking confirmation that Israel's command structure is intact. If the Prime Minister is incapacitated or dead, and if Israel is operating under a transitional leadership arrangement that has not been publicly disclosed, then every agreement, every coordination effort, every strategic decision being made in Netanyahu's name carries an asterisk. The Biden administration, and now the Trump administration, needs to know who is actually making decisions in Jerusalem, and right now that is not clear. China's foreign ministry issued a statement calling for transparency in Israeli government operations, a diplomatic phrase that translates to, "We do not believe your prime minister is functional and we want proof." Russia has remained silent, but Russian intelligence channels have circulated the body double footage with commentary suggesting Moscow believes Netanyahu was either killed or severely injured in the Iranian strikes. Neither assessment has been confirmed. Both reflect a growing international consensus that Israel's official narrative does not match observable reality. The strategic implications are profound. If Netanyahu is dead, Israel is operating without a sitting prime minister during the largest war it has fought in decades. The transition protocols are unclear. The emergency government provisions allow for acting leadership, but those provisions assume a temporary absence, not a sustained void. If Netanyahu is incapacitated, the same problem applies. Who is making the calls? Who has the authority to authorize strikes, negotiate ceasefires, or commit Israeli forces to extended operations? And if the answer is a committee or a security apparatus operating without clear civilian oversight, then Israel is functionally under military rule without having declared it. For Iran, the ambiguity is a strategic victory regardless of the truth. If Netanyahu is dead, Iran killed him. If he is incapacitated, Iran incapacitated him. If he is alive but hiding, Iran forced him into hiding. In every scenario, the perception is that Iran struck a target the Israeli government cannot afford to admit was hit. And perception, in information warfare, is often more valuable than confirmed fact. Iran does not need to prove Netanyahu is gone. It only needs to create enough doubt that Israel cannot prove he is still functional. The body double videos will continue. The written statements will continue. The carefully managed media appearances by other officials will continue. And with each one, the question will grow louder. Where is Benjamin Netanyahu? Why will Israel not show him? And what happened on March 1st that the government is working this hard to keep hidden? The evidence is piling up. The silence is no longer plausible, and the world is watching.